This is an iHeart podcast.
Did you know Dansko's been supporting women pursuing meaningful work since 1990? Yep, Dansko the Clog Company, but it's more than just footwear. Dansko is a symbol of comfort, quality, and purpose. Women wear Dansko shoes as a badge of their values and a nod to the work they do every day. Work that makes a difference in their communities, one bold step at a time. Dansko's Heritage Collection and newest designs are made for life on the move. Dansko's slip-on and go, easy-to-adjust styles save you time, while their commitment to high-quality materials ensures long-lasting comfort and durability. Whether you're on your feet all day, tackling big goals, or simply embracing every day, Dansko is there to support you every step of the way. Because at Dansko, every decision is made with you in mind, from the shoes they design to the impact they make. Step into comfort and purpose today. Visit Dansko, dansko.com/radio to learn more or try a pair. That's dansko.com/radio. We all have that piece, the one that's so you've basically become known for it. And if you don't know yet, fashionistas, you'll find it on eBay. That Miu Miu red leather bomber, the Custo Barcelona cowboy top, or that Patagonia fleece in the 2017 colorway. All these finds are all on eBay, along with millions of more main character pieces backed by authenticity guarantee. eBay is the place for pre-loved and vintage fashion. eBay, things people love.
Hey there, Joel here with my buddy Matt from How to Money. Matt, summer's right around the corner. I know you got that travel bug. What adventures do you have planned?
Oh man, you are going to love this. We're planning this epic road trip up the East Coast with the entire family. Just think lighthouses in Maine, monuments in D.C., plus everything in between.
That's amazing. I'm jealous, but thinking about stowing away in your luggage. But wait a second, how are all six of you going to take this road trip?
Okay, so initially we were thinking about taking an RV, but I found some really awesome Airbnbs along our route, places with something for everyone. And what I really love is that with Airbnbs, we can always start our days with like a good breakfast at home. Like, it's our home away from home, and I love that routine. I don't know if you've ever tried getting a family of six out the door, let alone trying to find some breakfast in the middle of a city that you're not super familiar with. It's a challenge, plus it's a budget killer.
Yeah, that's true. Sounds like chaos, to be honest. And you know, that's actually what makes hosting on Airbnb so special, right? You're giving travelers a chance to really live like a local. They even have the co-host feature, which gives you access to a network of high-quality local co-hosts who can help take care of your home and your guests when you're not there. Find a co-host at airbnb.com/host.
Ready for another dose of mystery and mind games? The Hulu original series 9 Perfect Strangers is back for an all-new season. This May, a new group of visitors with mysterious connections to each other journey to an opulent healing retreat. Subjected to an intense and unorthodox form of therapy and wellness, they peel back the layers in a series of shocking twists and revelations. Starring Nicole Kidman, 9 Perfect Strangers is now streaming on Hulu. New episodes Wednesdays.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Zoe, and you're listening to Climbing in Heels. This show is all about celebrating the most extraordinary superwomen who will be sharing their incredible journeys to the top, all while staying glamorous. Today with me, I am very excited. We have the most, I don't even know how to describe her. I have so many ways to describe her, but she is clever, she's smart, she's witty, she's funny. She is Laura Brown. She's an incredible Australian fashion journalist, former editor-in-chief of InStyle Magazine, and former executive director of Harper's Bazaar magazine. I have known her most of my career. She is as funny as she is kind, stunning, and talented. I am so excited for all of you to hear about Laura's journey today. So let's get started. Cutie. So let me first start by saying we don't have to be formal because I can't be formal with you.
No, I don't know how to do that.
Me neither. So basically I started climbing in heels because
you're an athlete.
Well, I'm pretty sure we know that's not true. But if you ask my dad, he would tell you up until I met boys, I actually was. But I love boys.
Boys
and quit
ruin
everything.
Yeah,
they do. It's like a make or break. But what I did was I realized, very similar to you, how many extraordinary women that we're surrounded by in every field.
Correct.
In our friends circle, in our professional circles, in our fashion circle. Like every circle, there's just badass women doing amazing things. But what I have found over my career is that people have asked me of any age, how on earth did you get here? How'd you become? How did you start this? How did you do it? And what I realized is that's actually always the question with anyone because like most of the world knows you as Laura Brown, right? They'll say, oh, I know Laura Brown. She's amazing. Like, I love her. She made fashion, like she made it relatable. She made fashion human and not scary for me. Or she's really funny. She takes humor and fat, like all these things. But I bet nobody, I don't want to say nobody, but I would say most people don't know how on earth you actually became Laura Brown. I know a little. I know a little because I met you so early. I remember the first time you interviewed me. I think it was at the Mercer Hotel.
Oh my God, the Mercer, it's a time capsule.
And it was 400 years ago. So you're a proud Aussie.
I'm a proud Aussie. I have lived, bloody hell, I've lived in America 21 years. In a triumph of strategy. I moved here a week before September 11th. I've been here I'm Aussie. I've been here 21 years. I lived in London for a couple of years in between to do that kind of like backpacking, but I wanted to go see Paris fashion shows kind of thing.
But you wanted to get out of Australia. Why?
Delusions of grandeur. You just don't. But also, you got to remember for us ladies who perhaps did not grow up with an iPhone in our hands.
Sure.
When we didn't have access in Australia to everything we have access there now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We didn't.
So
I was like,
you felt far away.
So far. And I would get like, 2-month-old Vogues or whatever, or like fashion on like TV or whatever. So we didn't have the immediacy. So I felt very removed and I was so desperate to get, especially it's a very fashion, like what a journalism thing. Oh, I want to get out of here. I want to go where where all the action is. And I just wanted to go, but it was more that I felt like the experiences I was having of fashion or film or creativity or arts or whatever were all diffuse because they had all come to me kind of secondhand.
Right.
So I was like, no, I want to see them with my own eyes. I want to be at the fashion show or the freaking movie or whatever the hell it was. And so I was so hungry for that. I think that's just number one, like a journalistic instinct. Like
But were you a student? Like, were you someone who you were a writer, right? Because I think that's very important.
I studied communications at university. So I studied journalism and I was a writer. Yeah. But it was just, I wanted to feel the culture happening like in my face in a way and get myself to where I thought it was, which it was at the time, you know what I mean? And it still is, obviously. Yes. Breaking news, New York, Paris, London, LA. Like hasn't changed that much, but it has. And so I was just, couldn't think of anything else but getting to where it was, So I kind of spent, apart from after my college years, so much time with my mind here, and I would get I would work at magazines in Australia and we get a big bag of magazines from New York, like once a week it was called Poetically in Australia.
So interesting.
Yeah, we'd call it the airbag. And so the airbag had come and they would all push each other out of the way to get the Vogues and the Details and the W's and like real top era of those too. Remember G2000, whatever. And I would read them. And I remember sometimes I would be reading New York Magazine or something, and I would look up and I'd forget where I was. I was just completely, it was very Aussie to say that, forget where I was.
No, but and
I was just here, wherever this is, in my head. So I just knew I had to go. And I think there's a thing about being Australian.
And you're very far.
We're very far, but we're very up for stuff.
But that's what people say to me, that whenever I go to Australia or I meet friends from Australia, the first thing they say, I found it so remarkable the first time I went there, that everyone who I met said, I'm so sorry we're so far. They were so apologetic about being so far. And they would say to me, how are you enjoying your trip? I was like, I love it here. It's beautiful. The people are so kind, blah, blah, blah. But they would apologize. They would say, oh, but we're so far from everything. We're so far. And it was this bizarre concept for me because I had always been a New Yorker, lived, in it,
yeah,
realizing, well, first of all, it is far, right? It is far, but it's so special.
And that's what makes it special. And I think we used to be more apologetic than we are now because
it's different now.
More part of things now, you know. But no, it used to be like, and it still is a bit like, oh, they're coming down. Oh, they're international. And there used to be this kind of like, oh, we need to validate ourselves by international people like Rachel Zoe coming down. Oh, da, 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 da. And, I think there's a bit of that still, because again, it is distance, blessing and curse.
Yes.
It was complete, that it has mellowed a bit now because there's so many things coming out of Australia that are new and exciting and part of the world. And, but no, at that time, because this was like, when I moved here, it was 2001.
Yeah.
We had we had the internet, but like I still was like, but there's a thing of Australians, and it's sometimes used as a criticism, but I actually love it, the word guileless to be, and I love being guileless because you kind of then you get on the plane.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
and they don't mind getting on the plane. That's what I noticed. They travel everywhere.
Because we don't have the option. We have to. But like, it's sort of like, oh, I'll go. I'll get on the plane. I've saved some money. I'll go.
Yep.
And also, like, I mean, for us, your worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out in New York, you can go back to beautiful Australia.
Right.
It's not the highest stakes coming from Australia to New York, because you can kind of go back. So you just kind of just go for it, really. And just if you're a curious cat. And I think when you're younger.
How'd you end up with Glenda though? So Glenda Bailey was the former editor-in-chief of Harper's Bazaar, and I met Laura probably 2005.
Oh yeah,
right?
donkeys years
roughly.
Ago. Mm-hmm. That's when I started there, 2005.
Okay. So probably around then.
Glenda, I met because I think I knew someone who'd worked at Harper's Bazaar UK or something. There was someone there, one of the editors that said, Glenda, do you want to come in for a meet and greet thing? And so I did. And it was right after September. It was just funny. Remember she said to me.
We have similar humor.
And I can happily do. Well, we just have the Commonwealth in common.
Right.
We're like Brits and Aussies,
Sure.
And but I remember she was saying, it was right. Like it wasn't that long after September 11th, but business had to get on with. It was all. So it was so surreal. The whole thing was like a dream sequence. And I remember Glenda going, Laura, what are your fashion connections? And I'd be like, well, I knew all these people in London, like
Sure.
And there wasn't anything going then, so that was like an informational kind of thing. And then, and this was, a long time ago. And then 2005, I ended up there because Sarah Bailey, who was a deputy editor at the time, she called me and she was like, hello. And she said, we'd like to talk to you, And I was about to take a job at Details magazine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, sorry, I'm about to go do this one.
Yep.
And I was only there. I was there for 9 months, and I didn't care for it. And but they called me again, and they said, do you want to come? And I went, yeah. So I started there Valentine's Day 2005, and worked with Glenda Bailey, GB Glenda Bailey, for 11 years. And through it felt like so many iterations of a job. And it's so funny, just like about 2 weeks ago, I hosted a party for her collection with Peruvian Connection.
Oh, see?
And it was just like the old days, like Demi Moore came and Alan Cumming, and it was so funny. And we were like, it was like we'd been like cryogenically frozen. And then we're like,
Laura,
hi.
Did you know Dansko clogs have been supporting women in meaningful work since 1990? More than just footwear, Dansko is a symbol of comfort, quality, and purpose. With easy slip-on styles and durable materials, Dansko shoes keep you moving so you can focus on what matters. Whether you're on your feet all day or chasing big goals, Dansko supports you every step of the way. Step into comfort and purpose today. Visit Dansko, dansko.com/radio to learn more or find your perfect pair.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
We all have that piece. You know the one. The thing that's so you've basically become known for it. And if you don't have yours yet, you'll find it on eBay. Putting you on here, fashionistas. eBay is where you'll find those one-of-a-kind, can't stop researching, stay up dreaming about pieces again and again. I'm talking that Miu Miu off the runway red leather bomber, the Cousteau Barcelona top with the cowboy on it, or that Patagonia fleece in the 2017 colorway. All these finds are on eBay, and they even offer millions of main character pieces backed by authenticity guarantee. eBay is the place for pre-loved and vintage fashion. eBay. Things people love.
This is Radhi Devlukia from A Really Good Cry. Apothecary is a leading Japanese health and wellness brand dedicated to harnessing the power of plant medicine. Apothecary is inspired by founder and CEO Shizu Okusa's Japanese heritage and mission to bridge East and West by harnessing the intelligence of nature. Their tinctures are easy to add into your daily routine. You can take them directly into your mouth or mix into a delicious functional mocktail. I tried Blue Burn, a powerful blend designed to boost metabolism, curb sugar cravings, and it's packed with Oregon grapefruit, a natural source of berberine, plus stress-supporting adaptogens to balance blood sugar and support your recovery. Apothecary is sold in Sprouts Farmers Market stores nationwide and online at Ulta.com, Amazon, and Apothecary.com. That's Apothecary with a K at Apothecary.com.
That's a big lesson that I like to share with people for a second. Because I've had people that worked with me for many years, 10 years, 11 years, 8 years, 9 years.
Yeah.
And they move on. And sometimes they come back. Sometimes I hire them freelance. Sometimes they consult with us 4 years later.
Yeah.
And you keep your family close, right? You stay close. And I always like to point out in business, it's not that you leave. It's how you leave. And I imagine you would agree with that.
100. You can't just be gracious always.
Yes.
And it's actually to the youth who
really,
youth,
like to everybody,
the youth,
really.
It's easier. Being gracious and nice is actually the lazy man's way.
I agree.
Out. Because I find it very stressful having a conflict.
Me too. Me too.
Of course we've had them, but I just like to. I mean, when I left, I was because I'd been approached for InStyle, so that was very clear that I was going to go and do that. And Glenda was the first one actually, because I'd worked with her for 11 years and we'd done incredible stuff together. She was the first one to go, no, you absolutely have to go do that. Like the people, the publishers that weren't so
of course
up for it, her bosses, but she was like, and she had the most to lose, and she was like, no, you've earned it. Off you go. So I think if you just do good work and you're nice, but you're also clear, like in Glenda again, who really could have benefited by having me working with her for another 10 years. She was like, no, you've earned it. So just like to earn your stripes and then really stand on top of the opportunities that you are given and that you make for yourself and the equity that you make for yourself.
Forever,
with your
by
work.
the way.
Forever.
That's the thing.
It doesn't go away.
I agree.
And you just bid on it. It doesn't matter regardless of your professional situation. We all got fired from InStyle in February, but everything I did and do does not disappear because I don't bloody run one of the 3 existing magazines.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean. So
I agree, and I think
you stand on that work and those relationships and the little house you build.
Well, I agree with that, and I think I've known you like really, 17 years. And it's crazy because I think we've kind of come up in parallel. Like, really we have a lot of the same friends. We gravitate towards a lot of the same people.
Nice ones.
Yes, nice ones. And I think that was sort of always the thing that I found so captivating about you, because you're very different in this business. But I mean that in a way... look, I've had people move on from me in a way that was so wrong. And it wasn't that, and I remember someone going, oh, so you can't ever leave you? It's like, no, leave me. No. Everyone has to go and move on, spread their wings at some point, whatever. It's not that you do it, it's how you do it. And so I think with you, you always stood out to me. You never felt to me in any way like a fashion person, a traditional fashion person.
The one from the manual.
Correct. Yeah. You actually felt very against manual, and you felt very, I found
That's
that
a huge compliment. Thank you. Against manual.
Well, against manual. And I think that manual is very old. And I think that manual is not what people want, you know?
Fashion can be so old fashioned.
It can. And so can so many businesses.
And that's so many businesses. And no, it was weird though, because I would never, and now I'm established enough but I used to sort of strike me. I was always so confused that people would say I was so unusual. And I'd go like, why am I so like, wow, is that good or bad? But it's just because it's such a insecure business.
Right.
It's so, you know, if you're trying to get a currency based on the jacket you're wearing, then that's not really the way, is it?
Right.
And also, I think when you realize, and I realized this reasonably early, I mean, I was at Harper's Bazaar by that point, but like, this is the industry that I thought was going to be this incredible, like, super highway where everybody was more connected and more glamorous and smarter and more accomplished than me. And then I realized they weren't.
Right.
And I was like, oh, wait, so this is not like Mensa.
Right.
Okay. And so why would the people that are so far away from Mensa be, you know, not the great intellects of our time, so many of them, be influencing how I feel on the day-to-day? You know what I mean? And so when you realize that you had a voice and some stature in the room, quote unquote, or you made great relationships just with your personality, then you kind of stand on that. So it's kind of, because people would say you're so unusual, and I would get good work done, or I'd build great relationships, or I'd make great friendships, or with people. It could be in fashion, or it could be like actresses in LA or whatever. It'd be like, oh God, we've not, you know. And I think that I always just also walked into a room with a good sense of myself too, not like this, like
not
these
insecure.
people were other species from me, or better than me, or had things that I should envy, right? You know, because we know a whole lot of these people. And I love a lot of them. I envy none of them.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And I think to have that realization really helps. So I think if you just, and also like different, because I came from Australia, I had to come here on my own. I think that I remember being so struck because people would go, wow, you're so, and I'd be like, Jesus God, like, can I, it's lovely to have a currency to be unusual, but you were always unusual in coming up as a stylist because you had,
I just wanted to be nice,
and a character and things to say and a real character, you know, and not just this sort of templatized idea of what a fashion editor should be, or what a stylist should be, or whatever. And so you're always very much yourself, you know? So I think that, like, God, honestly, personality gets you so far, and enthusiasm gets you so far. And everything you have to do the work.
Kindness, actually, humility. I think the other thing I want to say about you that has always stood out, and it's not just like to stroke you. I think I know so many women in this industry. And I think, look, people have always said I was different because I was kind, right? And they always said, like, you're such a nice, normal person, and whatever normal is, because I don't think I'm normal, but because I don't know what normal is. But
nobody does. Sis.
No, but I think the idea is you've always stood out as incredibly witty and smart, but really clever. And the reason I want to bring that up is I actually think that your success, yes, as a person, because you're so likable and you're funny and you're self-deprecating and all those things, but I actually think that, like, you actually have this gift for ideating on things that are completely disruptive, controversial, game-changing. I mean, even the thing that we did that still sits in frames on my wall, and still the story that people, I did a lot of photo shoots in my life. And of all the ones, I Die is the one people talk about. They reference, they try and copy it. It was controversial. It was this.
I know, you were being murdered all the time.
I was being murdered by designers.
I don't think you could get away with that anymore.
No, you couldn't. You could not. Not on social media. Someone said, how could you post a picture of Brian Atwood trying to kill you with a shoe? What poor taste. I'm like, oh God, is there no humor left in fashion?
It just, because it was so camp.
Of course.
Like, that was the thing. I mean, that's how you got away with it, because it was a bloody wink, you know what I mean? But I know, that's what, honestly, anything that I miss about magazines, and it's not much, there's two things: corporate healthcare and and photo shoots and having an idea and saying and
collaborating,
go along with it, and then doing it. And that's like, I mean, I think especially during COVID, we did our InStyle best work then. But I do love that. I do love going, oh my God, you know, it would be great. And then you call up someone, and then I always just I still get so excited. I have been on set for a little while, but like, everyone shows up to a place because you've had an idea, like in the shower, you know? And then you make it happen. The image comes to life in front of you. I find that the most thrilling thing. To make things.
Demi with the giraffe, that was you.
Something. Demi with the giraffe.
That was you.
I mean, just so many. I mean, Rihanna and the shark. I did a Harper's Bazaar and the shark's mouth, and all the stuff in Insta, like Dr. Fauci and Barack Obama.
Amazing. The Barack Obama, I cried, I think, when that happened. Actually.
And the one I did, that one we did, the cover that was inspired by that Ormond Gilly picture, Girls in the Windows.
My favorite.
And that was like peak COVID, and it was always people living in a house apartment building in Brooklyn. I was trying to do something about community, because we were at risk of losing community 2 months. It was only 2 months into COVID. But no, those sort of like grand ideas that if you can pull them off, and I think that I certainly did those a lot with Glenda at Bazaar, but like I still had grand ideas at InStyle, a little more rooted like on the ground. Glenda's a real fantasist, and I like to take a reference and twist it. So take something that's iconographic and twist it.
I want to talk about your girls, Laura.
My girls? So do I have girls? I do have a cat. I have a girl cat back there.
No, you have an amazing girl group. You are a girl's girl, but you're tough.
I do like them.
You're tough though. So I think like you obviously are a career person, right? Mm-hmm. You fall in love, you get married whenever at 47. But like, I feel like you've only just begun. And I do think you lean on your girls a lot, but I don't think you've ever been one to rely on the guy. To me, when I say rely, I mean, you've never, ever come off to me as the girl waiting for the guy.
Oh, shit. Because if I was, I would have been waiting for age. I would have been. When I finally met my husband, Brandon, I was 41.
Cutie pie.
And I used to make jokes that I would be dying alone eaten by cats. And I wouldn't even have, in this scenario, I now do have a cat, but I wouldn't even have cats. They would smell my rotting corpse, and they would come and eat me next door. So that was my scenario. I mean, it was meant to be humorous. I wasn't actually these fatalistic cat ideas. But no, I was such a self-propelled engine. I think there's something, look, New York City kind of self-possessed lady. I'm not super interested in, I've got to meet the man with the Hamptons house and
you have Malcolm.
Yeah, exactly. From Malcolm. As long as you know one person. But I never was looking for, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And I think it says everything that when I felt, it's not like one day like a gong goes off and you're like, I'm sorted. Yeah. But I think I felt that tacitly at like 40, 41 that I had my own worth. I made my own money. I was professionally established. And Brandon, was my breakfast waiter at the Sunset Tower Hotel.
The most romantic story ever, by the way.
I wasn't going for him for his vast fortune, but that and there's a lot of New York ladies that wouldn't go out with the waiter because they're trying to get some idea of something, which just leaves them very, very unhappy. So I feel like I had to sort of be built in myself to be able to find the one that gives me happiness in all these other spheres of my life. Because at the end of the day, I take care of myself.
Yep.
I just do. I've got my savings. I do this. I've got my whatever it is that you need in life to feel that you're okay. I have that to a degree, and so it gives you a sense of calm, and openness to everything else, to a broader life than you would feel if you don't have that. So I think, met Brandon at 41, got married. We were supposed to get married in 2020, but breaking news, you wouldn't believe what happened in 2020. COVID. And so, finally got married April this year. So no, 47 years old, wore a pink dress. And that was
which also shocking.
Really.
Also shocking, by the way, Laura. I have to say, you wearing pink. I mean, and then it made sense because it's by Pier Paolo, who, I mean, another love of your life and a love of.
But I had pockets though, so I had a pink dress, but they had to have pockets.
Has to have pockets.
I know, so I had to be like pink but functional. And I had to be really dissuaded from like taking my phone and putting it in my dress because like I would have taken my phone up the aisle.
Well, let me ask you
this.
this.
Miss a minute. Yes.
Laura, so one thing that I really like to talk about in this is, and because I've had these moments in my career, you've had, I mean, there's challenges, right? There's rises, there's falls. There's,
no, I've had a challenge. What are you talking about?
I mean, tell me what, like, obviously, most recently, we know. Well, maybe not everybody knows. They closed InStyle, which
they
Laura
closed InStyle,
had crushed.
And we all lost.
Can I say that? You crushed InStyle.
No,
like, killed it. It was the best.
I did. Sorry,
and I say that in a positive. When I say killed, mean like
no.
Just,
I know. I did not actually kill it. It did indeed die, but I did not.
You made everyone talk about InStyle.
InStyle, we really did. I think, especially through. Look, long story short, I had been doing this for a long time. Yep. I've been doing this 20 years. It was not my master plan to stick with magazines for the rest of my life because I'm not a total idiot. So I'd been thinking sort of beyond it anyway, which does sound a bit like I was going to leave him, but I really was. And so I was probably going, I swear. I was.
Sometimes
really
life makes decisions for you, Laura.
Yeah,
One
exactly.
Of the
I was looking to sort of.
I really stand by that.
Yeah, I was looking to sort of start making my way on to do my own stuff by the end of this year. And I remember the InStyle Awards last year, looking around, and it was really great and everything. It was a really, really good one.
It was amazing.
And I remember thinking that was my last. I was like, oh, that's good. Yeah. All right. And but we all got, they shut it down and we all lost our jobs in February. And it was, so earlier, I tipped out of the nest earlier than I planned if I had planned. But that said, look, number one, to my earlier talk about the equity you earn and work you have. So I'm fully confident that the fact that InStyle kind of existed for as long as it did due to my hand 100%, and my help. 100%. So rather than the other way around, I don't get, and I urge this of any woman, anyone, whoever.
Take the accountability and be proud of it.
And don't attach your value to the place where you work. Yeah. Remember the value that you give to it and you keep wherever you work. Mm-hmm. So when that happened, it was a shock. And I had to get my team placed and sort all that out. But I knew that I had other fish to fry and I was already
you were mentally kind of half there.
Because I think when you work at how much, I think, look, it's corporate life is a great life for so many people, and that's fine. I'm a good corporate girl, and I have been. But I was starting to just tire of bringing so much value in and sort of having my fate, fortunes, day, bonus, mood decided by other people. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of autonomy there, creative. Like they didn't come near me like in terms of that way. I was very lucky, and Meredith actually were great to work for. So I never had any. With the work I did, no one ever bothered me at all. But I just was starting to be like, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm worth something. Yeah. And I did well with it and everything, but I was just like, I'm going to start to, want to run my own thing one day. And so I actually registered my own media company a couple of years ago and stuck it in a folder in the back room.
Of course you did. Yeah. Of course you did. Just in case.
And then I was like, because I was starting, to percolate on things and, very slow boil plans. So then when this all happened, I was like, where is that binder? And the best thing that happened was if I got this crazy outpouring of DMs, messages from people
I lost my mind.
That if and it's like industry people, yes, I mean, obviously lovely, but readers from, I got one from this lady, and if I just left, I would never have gotten these, right? So if I just gone on my merry way, I wouldn't have. So this all happened. I got this message from this lady called Boo, and she was in Mississippi, and she was 60 plus, I think, and she said, Laura, I only ever read magazines that you worked for at, and thank you for making me feel included.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's That's the shit, ladies. Like, that's it. Like, I enjoyed your free handbags. That's fine. But like that stuff. And so that was so unbelievable. It was like reading, like.
But did that help you, Laura, kind of like start to think about, okay, this is my purpose? Because I had many things throughout different touch points in my career that someone I didn't know would say something to me about an impact that I had in what way that was like something I had no idea could happen. And I go, that's my purpose. Hold on. I have to pivot what I thought I was doing to now do this, because this is actually my purpose now. I need to touch this, right?
But you have a community, and you bring a sense of community with you, and so do I.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I think that's a lovely thing to have and to recognize and to be reminded of in those situations.
But were you scared? Like, it's sandal season at Dansko. That's right, Dansko. The iconic clog brand now offers sandals. Whether you're looking for stylish wedges, comfy flats, or trendy cork sandals, Dansko has you covered. And don't miss the all-new platform Pro Clog. Visit Dansko, dansko.com/radio to explore Dansko's full range of supportive and fashionable footwear. From Dansko's iconic heritage clogs to the latest designs, Dansko's easy-to-wear slip-ons and adjustable styles are made to support you through even the busiest days. Plus, enjoy free shipping and returns. Visit Dansko, dansko.com/radio today. We all have that piece. You know the one. The thing that's so you've basically become known for it. And if you don't have yours yet, you'll find it on eBay. Putting you on here, fashionistas. eBay is where you'll find those one-of-a-kind, can't stop researching, stay up dreaming about pieces again and again. I'm talking that Miu Miu off the runway red leather bomber, the Custo Barcelona top with the cowboy on it, or that Patagonia fleece in the 2017 colorway. All these finds are on eBay, and they even offer millions of main character pieces backed by authenticity guarantee. eBay is the place for pre-loved and vintage fashion. eBay. Things people love.
This is Radhi Devlukia from A Really Good Cry. Did you know that approximately 1 in 3 Americans have insulin resistance and consume over 300% more than their daily recommended intake of sugar? I'm here to tell you that you can stop sugar cravings before they even start with Apothecary's Sugar Kick. This potent tincture features Japanese-inspired ingredients studied for their ability to support healthy blood sugar levels, giving you more energy, less fatigue, and fortified longevity. Apothecary is a leading Japanese health and wellness brand dedicated to harnessing the power of plant medicine. It is inspired by founder and CEO Shizu Okusa's Japanese heritage and mission to bridge East and West by harnessing the intelligence of nature. Their goal is to make everyday healing second nature. Apothecary's products are formulated by clinical herbalists with specialized knowledge of plant medicine and science-backed research to craft the formulas. Add Sugar Kick into your daily routine to keep life sweet while also balancing your hormones. Find Apothecary in Sprouts Farmers Market stores nationwide and online at Ulta.com, Amazon, and Apothecary.com. That's Apothecary with a K at Apothecary.com.
Ready for another dose of mystery, mind games, and psychological intrigue? The Hulu original series 9 Perfect Strangers starring Nicole Kidman is back for an all-new season. This season, a new group of visitors with mysterious connections to each other journey to an exotic healing retreat set high in the Swiss Alps. In this opulent winter wonderland, the group is subjected to a unique vision of therapy that takes them to the very edge of sanity. As they peel back the layers in a series of shocking twists and character revelations, the retreat's leader reveals her own complex motives. As the strangers unravel before our eyes, everything is revealed in a visually stunning and intoxicating finale that will leave you breathless. Starring Nicole Kidman, and with an all-star cast including Christine Baranski, Murray Bartlett, Henry Golding, Annie Murphy, Mark Strong, and King Princess, 9 Perfect Strangers is your next must-watch drama. The season premiere of 9 Perfect Strangers premieres May 21st, streaming on Hulu.
I guess my question is, like, have you had that moment where you woke up and go, what the actual fuck just happened and I'm terrified? Or are you like, I'm good?
It was...
In general, at any point in life, in your career.
I think the guilelessness comes back. Honestly, it comes back of like, okay, there's things like that. And I am, breaking news, an accomplished, quote unquote, successful lady, you know? And so for me to feel vulnerable about healthcare, God forbid, like, and I was like, I can afford it, you know, but there's those kind of skewy things with life that, you know, you're taken care of when you work for a large company. So, and you feel vulnerable, you know, in those moments, just those life moments. And then, no, for the first little, and I really honestly I basically took 6 months off. Like I went and got married, and so I kind of only pressed go recently. But it's a big sort of the grinding of the gears to kind of work on this buffet of stuff I'm doing. But what I love about it, and even at those moments of, and honestly, I'm not being bullshitty, not so many. And I kept wondering if I would. I kept wondering if I'd like have a chuck a wobbly, as we say at home. But like if I'd go to the Paris fashion shows and I wouldn't be going to all the ones I used to do when I chuck a wobbly. Would I? And I haven't, because I'm not interested in doing all those things.
No.
And being with those people that I wouldn't want to hang within their sandbox anyway. So now what I think triumphs over all of, even if you have little twitches, is the ownership you've earned over what you do. And that, so now it's like, if you want me to work with you, if I'm going to do a podcast or make a movie with you or design stuff or consult or do whatever I'm going to do. But you pay me. And I own that.
100%.
And that, ladies, is the shit.
And it's for you, Laura. That's the thing. It's for you.
And you have to own that. And that's when you can be, that's when you have to always like, that's when you got to own your shit. And I learned this a little bit because Australians are self-deprecating. And we're not like, I'm not a big tosser, but I have sort of in the last, since I've been in the States, just gone, no, I did do that work. And that was good work. And I deserve that thing. And I think that's still sadly hard for, you know, and no, I can't, I'm not going around swinging saying, oh, you know, pay me this. But I do have I can articulate the ownership of what I've done and the pride in the work that I've done. And I really urge all women to,
I would like
it doesn't
to
mean
you.
You're like an ego, but it doesn't mean you're like an ego monster. It's just like, I did that and I'm proud of it.
No.
You know,
it's okay to have confidence.
Yes.
It's okay to have confidence. And I actually weirdly think, Laura, funny enough, I actually think that's the thing as women that we struggle with the most. I like, meaning I know maybe I can count on one hand the amount of truly confident women I know. Really. Like actually, because I think a lot of what drives us very often is our insecurity. So we constantly go, do better, do more, outdo that person. You can do better. Like that's why they always say like women are overachievers and men are typically underachievers because the expectation of them is not as high, right? It's just different. And I think, but I have always found, you know, the thing I always get asked, and I'm sure you do too, is I love fashion. I want to get into the fashion business. You to me have never seemed like that person. I actually think what motivated you, it's almost like the fashion weirdly from where I sit for you was secondary. I never felt like you were that like fashion editor in the front row that was like look number blah blah blah. Like you were sort of like you wanted to like write a story about the design. You know what I'm saying? Like
a broader story.
You came from it.
Cultural story in some way, but not to be pretentious about it either. No, certainly not. No, but just like a bigger thing about the designer and the world they live in and the women they dress, rather than like it's all about the wide pant.
Yes, and we love a wide pant.
I adore a wide pant. It is all about a wide pant. My whole life, and most of yours. 100%. I get it. But like I that is just, that's not that challenging, is it?
No.
The new coats. Okay, it's a bunch of coats.
No. I live in LA. I barely get to wear a damn coat.
It's just like all this sort of shit. All that sort of prescriptive fashion stuff is just so dumb. It's so dumb.
So Laura, what happens?
It just interests me.
What happens? Like I want to know what happens with Laura Brown next, because I have a feeling you have many irons in the fire.
I actually do.
I'm aware that you probably do.
Irons in the fire and a little like, I gotta say what I'm really enjoying right now is it's just sort of things coalescing, but I'm not overdoing it. I'll go and sort of bank in my days. I'll bank like some Zoom command performances all together in the one day, and then I'll go for a walk.
Yeah.
And then and if I don't
Balancing
have to do something on Friday, I won't.
Yeah.
Like, so that kind of, I've been in Australia more,
Yeah.
like all those things, just to live more holistically. But no, what I would say LB Media is, and what I have characterized it as an umbrella over a buffet.
I love you.
But it's
Of course.
just like,
but it makes sense.
LB logo
You're
umbrella.
touching a lot of things.
And it is, I think, but even, I guess another way to describe it, I've just been thinking on, is almost like everything I'm doing now would almost be like the sections of a magazine, which is, there's words, there's pictures, there's podcasts, there's film, there's producing, there's design, there's aesthetics, there's PR, there's hosting, there's all of these things. And I think what it's going to come back to, and again, I've really only been at it 2 months, is a kind of community, and I'll see which way. Like, I'm producing a film that I ended up
Makes sense.
involved in, and so it's all of these things that people would sort of call me and go, "Hey, how about it?" And I just really love it. I'm working on maybe a big beauty idea. Hopefully, it's very slow, but who knows? But just like, I love this sort of
Touching a lot of things.
I do. I like here's some shrimp and here's some chicken and here's some carrot sticks and here's like some cheese. I really, I don't want to have to decide. I don't want to have to be linear. I don't want to have to describe it in a linear way, which is again still quite American. And and people go, "So what are you doing?" And I sort of go, and it's even my agents. So what are you doing? I'm like, dude, it's all the things.
Yeah.
But like I never did. Even though I was in magazines, I never just did words, I just did pictures. I did the whole world, to create the whole world. So I feel like it's like, it's weird having to talk about myself in the third person. It's kind of this LB universe. Yeah. And I'm very good at, and what I really love also is introducing people and connecting people so they can make beautiful things together. And so I'm going to be a producer, but also sort of talent as well, a little bit. I've got manager now and all that sort of stuff, so I'm just seeing where it goes, and I'm not pushing anything, and I don't have anything to prove to anybody. Right. I don't get as many handbags. It's fine. I've got plenty. That sort of stuff. Yeah. Like, I also would like to make, a real success is when you buy your own handbags, isn't it? So, and you're not depending on other people's largesse. And a lot of stuff with journalism and media, it's lovely and luxurious, but it's not actually your life.
No.
It's not, you get to go stay at the nice hotel for the Chanel show, and then you go home to your apartment. So I like to live my own life. It's been great. I went to Paris for some shows just recently because I was doing this video series with my Teresa, and I would scam rides from like Samira or Christina O'Neill, but then I would get on the J-Set taxi service and walk around. And I'm also really enjoying feeling like I'm part of a city and I'm functioning, and I'm not just looking out some car window, because in between appointments with advertisers, I feel very solid, and not eroded or dependent on things that I had or thought I needed.
That's so interesting. And I want to just talk about that really quick. The thing is, it's definitely something I want to talk about, because that's an incredible example with lots of takeaways about being working in corporate America versus being an entrepreneur. I haven't had a boss since I was 25. I have had no support in terms of if I don't show up, there's no one to show up for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or healthcare, any of the things, or when I go to Europe, I'm paying for that. Do you know what I mean? Or I'm booking drivers, and so I want to bring that up because there is this real pros and cons thing to being both. And some people really can only function in that corporate because whether it's insurance, whether it's people really like that constant. Yes.
Rag
my sister.
On it, you know what I mean?
My sister. Yeah, no, she loves it.
No rag on it at all. I mean,
it's not better or worse. It's not better or worse.
I was a good corporate girl, and I would be always the one who'd be like, "Can you host the funny?" They'd be like, "Can you host the funny sweater party at Christmas?" I'm like, "Yes, okay." But I would be. You just see them asking. Yeah, exactly. I'm very on brand. But I
could see you wearing the light up deer one. Actually.
Oh God, yeah, just right on my boobs. Anyway, and but I and look, it's a great, especially like an editorial, like it can be like a great life, and you get your perks and your bonuses, and you can. I just was like,
no, but you don't. It's not for you. It's not for you.
Me. I'm more me. My value comes from me, and I want to decide what that is. And it is. It's certainly riskier in the early term.
Oh yeah, it's riskier.
You know, but
it's awesome.
But it's awesome. It just gives you a whole lot more to stand on, and it's the house that you built. And I am really like, you know, raised by a single mom, only child in Sydney, Australia. So I'm like, I got on the damn plane and I'm here. So I feel solid. I feel solid and good and optimistic, and also not trafficking any of those old silly behaviors and tropes of fashion that we just don't need to bother with anymore.
Can I tell you one thing that there has been such a common thread, many common threads throughout the amazing women that I've interviewed. And I have to say that the most common thread is that every woman every single one except for two were raised by a single mother.
Wow.
A working, blood, sweat, and tears single mother. And I have to tell you that I'm here on the other side of it, watching the most extraordinary women as products of single mothers. And as hard as it is to be a single mother, it's nice to know that your children, particularly the daughters, really, even though it may suck in the moment, like how hard it is, you know, it really does have an impact in a good way. And that's another thing for when, like, if you know that you grew up with not much and you just worked. I worked from when I was 14 years old. And so I feel I think that does give you equity as well. It's just like, I got the $5,000 to get me the plane ticket to come here. You've earned this, Laura.
You know, kind of,
Yeah, not kind of.
And so, and so I feel like that everyone does. And just, it's so important to remind yourself of that, whether you've got 3 kids and a mom and pop with a
doesn't matter
white picket fence, or moms or dads or whatever it is, or whichever way you came out into the world, just
do the work.
Do the work and believe in yourself, and then create something you can stand on. Then you create something else, and you can just stand a little bit higher.
Can you give a kiss to your gorgeous husband and your cat?
I will.
I mean, really, how could you not fall in love with Laura? I mean, the fact that she left Australia and moved to New York proves her work ethic, how dedicated she is, and how ambitious she is, because Australia, as we all know, is so incredibly far. It's just so admirable because she didn't do the sort of traditional, path into fashion, which I don't know what is traditional, but a lot of people, I think, go to school, they major in fashion merchandising, they go to fashion school, then they become designers, or then they become fashion editors. And I think with Laura, as I said in our discussion, she has always stood out to me because she had so much humor about her approach to the industry, which very often is lacking in humor. So thank you so much for listening to Climbing in Heels. And don't forget to write a review wherever you get your podcasts. I love to read them. And while you're at it, follow me on @RachelZoe and @ClimbingInHeelsPod on Instagram for more updates on upcoming guests. I'll talk to you next week. Mwah. Did you know Dansko clogs have been supporting women in meaningful work since 1990? More than just footwear, Dansko is a symbol of comfort, quality, and purpose. With easy slip-on styles and durable materials, Dansko shoes keep you moving so you can focus on what matters. Whether you're on your feet all day or chasing big goals, Dansko supports you every step of the way. Step into comfort and purpose today. Visit Dansko, dansko.com/radio to learn more or find your perfect pair.
Traveling is one of life's greatest joys. Honestly, can anything be more exhilarating? Well, actually, yeah. With Chase Sapphire Reserve, it's your gateway to the world's most captivating destinations. First, you'll earn 3 times points for travel and dining, and the card gets you into the Sapphire Lounge by the club at select airports nationwide, and access to one-of-a-kind experiences. Whether you're booking a once-in-a-lifetime trip or your next weekend escape, discover more with Chase Sapphire Reserve at chase.com/Sapphire Reserve. Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
This is Radhi Devlukia from A Really Good Cry. Apothecary is a leading health and wellness brand dedicated to harnessing the power of plant medicine, formulating clean, effective herbal remedies that target the root cause of health imbalances. Their tinctures are easy to take directly into your mouth or mix into a delicious functional mocktail. I decided to try their Blue Band formula, which uses Oregon grapefruit, a natural source of berberine that boosts metabolism and curbs sugar cravings. You can find Apothecary at Sprouts Farmers Market stores nationwide and online at Ulta.com, Amazon, and Apothecary.com. That's Apothecary with a K at Apothecary.com.
We finally switched to T-Mobile because with them, we can be connected here and there.
Dad, the cousins in Mexico have a surprise for you.
Listos todos. Una, dos. Estas son.
And enjoy the gift of staying connected.
Switch and start saving today. Get 4 Samsung Galaxy S25 phones with Galaxy AI on us and 4 lines for just $25 per line. Plus, nonstop talk, text, and data between U.S. and Mexico. Visit a store, T-Mobile.com, or call 1-800-T-Mobile. 1-800-T-Mobile. See details at T-Mobile.com.
This is an iHeart podcast.